listening to the Praise Party. No party like a Holy Ghost party. Great interviews, gospel music, various time to burn. You're listening to
Daria Jacobs is with you right here in the studio, right here on the Praise Party. There ain't no party like a Holy Ghost party, because the Holy Ghost party don't stop. Listen, we've been talking about it the last hour, about First Lady's conversation, and I am so, as the Baptist preachers would say, I'm hippopotamus happy to be here today to talk about First Lady's conversation. As we mentioned within the last hour with First Lady Dean, who is the writer behind the scenes of First Lady Conversation, Tanisha Dean, we're just not talking about First Ladies, their troubles and what they go through, but we're talking about empowerment, uplifting, encouraging, how we have feelings, okay? So we're excited that we have two phenomenal women in the studio today, and just so excited. You're in for a treat. We're starting this segment off today that's going to just bless your life. And First Lady Conversation is something you want to tune in every first Saturday of the month. Every first Saturday of the month. And this will be a platform to give the voice to our pastor's wife. And believe it or not, we have plenty to say. Right, ladies?
Yes.
Amen. Yes, I said we. Of course, on December the 29th of 2018, I was blessed with the privilege of being a First Lady after marrying Bishop Jacobs, and I am so excited to be on this new journey, and not only as a wife but as a First Lady. And you know better, as you know, it's better to sow into me than some of these amazing women who are going to be sowing in me today, and those who are listening right now. If you're just coming into the ministry, and so many young people and are coming in and being First Lady and don't really know how to carry themselves. Should I still wear pantyhose? Can I still wear my open toes? So this is going to be in for a treat. So today we have we brought two amazing wives to the show, and we have the elegant First Lady Melissa West at Bible Fellowship Church, and the exquisite First Lady Crystal Tolbert of Restore Purpose Ministries. And thank you so much, ladies, for joining us today.
Thank you.
It's
an honor to be here.
Yes. It's so beautiful. So just a little bit before we dive into the show, just please tell us a little bit about yourselves and how long you've been a First Lady, and do you have any children? It's just something special that a lot of people don't know you enjoy doing as a First Lady. And I'll start with you, First Lady West.
Okay, well, thank you, Daria, for having me on the show. I'm Tanisha. Thank you. I love you very much. And to First Lady Crystal, this beautiful First Lady, I'm honored to be here with her. I am Melissa West. I have been married to my husband, Kenneth, to be 31 years in May. We married very young, 21, 22 years old. Thank you, Jesus. We have weathered every storm, and God is still blessing our marriage. We have two adult children, Kenneth Jr. and Muriel Danielle, and God is adding to my family. Will be a mother-in-law November 17th.
Congratulations.
And so I'm happy about that. We've been in ministry for 10 years. I believe it was the third Sunday in January of 2009 that we had our first service. God has blessed, and we are still thriving. It's not about how many, it is about how deep we are going in ministry. And so we are thankful to God for what He's doing. And one of the things I think that people don't know is I just like to sit at home and read and write. And I love that. That is a part of who I am when I am not busy doing ministry, because you're doing ministry all the time. No matter if you're at home, that's where our first ministry takes place, or if you're outside of the home. But when I'm just able to just sit and seclude myself, then I like to read. I just like to just shut down and just read and write and listen to the voice of God.
Awesome. That's amazing. First Lady Tolbert.
I just want to tell you, Lady Daria, thank you again for this opportunity. I am so honored to be on this show with Lady Melissa, and Tanisha, it's a pleasure to meet you as well. I am Crystal Tolbert, and I am the First Lady of Restore for Purpose with Pastor Kenneth Tolbert. And it's so funny because we have the same, our husbands have the same name, but I am grateful to just, when I think about being a First Lady, I think about just with ministry, I want to be able to be an example on a platform, whether it's small or big, to help women behold. Use the example of what a First Lady was designed to be a midwife, to cultivate what God has given as being a woman, and I am grateful for the opportunity. I'm grateful to serve with my husband. We've actually had our church for 4 years. Next month, we started out in our home with Bible study. We got married almost 6 years ago, and a week later, we started Bible study, and then 2 years later, we started the church. So it's been almost 6 years, and I'm honored for that. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be his rib. And when I say that, his rib, what God has allowed me to learn with him, and that's to really love him when he gets done ministry. So, and we have 3 kids. We have a 17-year-old, 11-year-old, and our baby just turned 5 last week. But one thing that I think people don't know about me is that I love to laugh. I am I like to make people laugh. I like to live. That's one thing Lady Melissa said that was really, that I like to read too, but I think something that people don't realize is that we are people when we're not the first lady, when we're not the minister or the prophet or whatever. And so I like to be with my girlfriends. I like to laugh. I like to have fun and giggle and just be a normal person. The other thing that I do enjoy, I love spending time with my husband. I actually like him, not in the pulpit, but I like him when nobody in private. So that's something we don't get to do a lot. So I really enjoy just having fun with him and laughing and spending time with our kids.
Amen. That's really beautiful. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the topic right now. Now, my question is, how do I separate, shall I say, my pastor from my husband? And let me help y'all out a little bit when I say that after Sunday morning worship, how do you get your husband back? How do you turn that switch on from ministry and just as a simple like, babe, when's our next vacation? Or when are the kids going to have, what are they going to be doing, going on? How do you switch that back on? Because he's been preaching, he's been ministering, he's been the pastor. How do you switch that off, baby? I need you to be my husband right now.
Well,
Lady Tover, go ahead.
What's so funny when you said that, I think it's easy for them to switch back. Well, for my husband, he switches back to Kenneth immediately, because that was one thing that we didn't know at first. We didn't know how to just be Kenneth and Crystal anymore, because we were so focused on ministry. And he said, I need Crystal. I don't want First Lady. I just want, because I was so consumed with trying to make sure that he was all right, that he was covered and things like that. And so it's funny. So it's just the opposite. It's me. I make a conscious note, okay, my husband's here. I got to make sure he eats. I got to make sure that he's ready to just be Kenneth again, and make sure that I'm catering to the man of him and minister to him, because that's something you're going to learn too. They really like for their wives to minister to them after they have ministered to the people. So whatever way that you need to minister to them, because the anointing is so strong on them, but then they're so weak. If it's feeding them, if that, whatever it is, you need to nourish the man, because I hear you, God, they are giving out so much to the people. They are empty. So as us being their ribs, we got to fill them. If they have a covering or whatever, I always tell my husband, I'll always be his loudest cheerleader. And so whatever it is, I'm ready and I'm available for it.
Lady West?
Absolutely. I think it's something that has to be acquired, because when we started our ministry 10 years ago, my husband is a devoted man of God. And I'm not just saying that because he's my husband. I'm saying that because this is the man I see when the doors are closed. I know how dedicated and how devoted he is to God and to God's people. So when the church started 10 years ago, he was very devoted in getting it off the ground. So we had to learn, as Lady Crystal said, how to be a couple again, because we had started moving away from that. And then God started convicting my heart and telling me, these are things that you need to do as his wife. You have to be his comforter. You have to be his nurturer. You have to be his protector. Because when he comes from away from the people and the church, he's coming back home to you. What is he coming back home to? So I had to make sure that those doors were open to nurture him and to make sure that he was protected and to listen. Sometimes it just needs you to listen. You don't need to say a word. Just sit at his feet. And you, as you said, Lady Crystal, be his biggest cheerleader, because he's going to get beaten down. That's just, ministry is joy and misery. if you can believe that, at the same time, it is. So we have to make sure that they know that we are by their side at all times. When they're sitting, when you're sitting, wherever you're sitting in church, you are focusing on him. Let his eyes focus on you. So because sometimes he can look out and see a face that may not be so receptive to what he's saying. He needs to be able to look at you and say, my wife is receptive. Right. And so we have to learn how, again, to be a husband and wife at a different level. We were husband and wife before we got married, but then when God called him into pastorship, then we had to learn again that we're still husband and wife. Yes. But now we have to learn how to be this within the perimeters of being a pastor and first lady. So spend time together. Yes. Take those staycations together. Yes. Take those vacations together. Yes. And learn to date when you're on those vacations. Yes. You know, when we started the church, we took our first vacation in 2016. That's much too long, especially starting a church almost 8 years prior to that. But do you know that was the best thing that we could have done? And we're just somewhere locally here to get away from everybody. And God allowed us to date again. He was my boyfriend. He wasn't my pastor. I was his girlfriend. I wasn't his first lady. And when we came back, we were so refreshed and we were charged. And you know, that's when God put purpose back in us again. So, okay, now I can take you to the next level because you have reconnected again as husband and wife.
That's good. Thank you, ladies. First Lady Crystal Tolbert, First Lady Melissa West in the studio as we're talking about First Lady Conversation. Listen, we can also open the phone lines 972-996-3970. Maybe you have a question. Maybe you are a pastor, maybe you're a First Lady, maybe you are looking to marry a pastor. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Maybe you need some encouraging words, and these First Ladies can pour into you as we're talking about First Lady Conversation. Maybe you're married and you just need some encouraging words and just, I need we need to go on a date, husband. You not hear this right now because this is some good information, all right? We're going to take a break. We'll be back. We'll break out some music right here on Heaven 97 KHBN.
People just feel your heart. Like I was about to cry because people need to hear that. You know, we don't know how to date them. This is the thing where I wish me and my husband can say this, that we have people to teach us how to be who we are out the pulpit. Because that was the thing. I was so, you know, like you said, you're so focused on the people and your marriage be bleeding. You don't, because it be bleeding. You know, you need that. Because I was like, I'm like, I just want to know you again. I miss that because we used to have so much fun. You don't have the time, and that's the thing. You gotta subconsciously make time because people are pulling on you.
All the time.
You know, but I think it's a little different when, like for you, I think it's a little different because your husband was already a pastor. You know, my husband was in ministry, but it's different when it's full time. So you kind of know what to expect. Y'all have been married so long before that it's a difference when they go into walking into it. Yeah, I'm walking into it. Yeah.
So it's like he's bringing you into this world. Yeah. But it's still going to be a difference because now you have to learn how to balance being a wife and a pastor's wife. And he's going to have to balance now to be a husband. Because he's just been a pastor. And now I was like, okay, I can't forget. I can't just go all
the way. Okay. Thank you for the
But when you have chemistry though with people, you know, I could feel her like I wanted to cry because that's what I love when people can hear your heart when you speak. You can feel God on you. That's what we're supposed to be doing. But Lady Jerry, like for me, how do you still? This is the thing I know a lot of women struggle with. How do you not lose your identity as being a woman when you've already been established? See, we're a little bit different than the old school first ladies. Most of them didn't have their own lives because they got married so young. So they would just sit there and no life, and they were in a box.
Oh God!
I just said, what did she say?
And they want to put us there, and we're different. We're more like millennial women. I'm like, because I had to downplay a lot of that because I love my husband. I was someone before I met him, so that's hard. That's hard because a part of you guys in the process of that. Because I gave up a lot because I honored God and I honored Him, but nobody wants to talk about it.
No.
If you feel
No.
helpless because you can't go to nobody because they want you to be so strong when you know that you're called for greater, but you got to be put in this
Come on
box.
now. Come on.
And
That's
women
right.
are struggling in
That's
that.
right. And sometimes God doesn't reveal that to you
No.
until you actually become
Yes.
one. That
Come
was
on
mine.
now. Yes.
I didn't know my purpose until I became
Yes.
a pastor's wife.
Yes.
But I still had to succumb. and
Yes.
submit.
That's good.
Yeah, so we don't carry that spirit of Jezebel.
Ah.
Try to run
See
over
so
your
much.
husband.
That's another thing I was going to ask. What do you do when you have so many women pulling on your husband? You know, I know you get those calls at night. I know that you have, and you know your husband. I'm not a jealous woman, and he's not a jealous man.
Right.
And I know, but however, you see those women who are just, even if he married, how do you deal with that?
Look at this. They need to be directed to you now. He has a wife now.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah. Well, what about some people? You know, you have some people in the church. They come straight to the first lady. They have a relationship with the first lady. Then you have some who don't necessarily
Because your
connect.
husband has been a pastor, so that obviously if you
connect
have
with
war
the
room, then you need to go in there and
Mm-hmm.
write out scriptures for your husband, because there's only so much that you can do as his wife.
And
You
so
be secure
secure.
in who you are and who God is calling you to be. But then you go into your war room and you pray these prayers specifically
Have
on
you ever
God's
had
word.
that issue being 18
Oh, absolutely.
years? What did you do?
Until you, well, look, we've been married 31. So now think about it. I've had issues dealing with women all of my marriage. I've just learned how to be, I've always been secure in who I am. I've never been jealous, a jealous woman. But God gives, I think, pastors' wives a discernment. It's a different level of discernment when it comes to other women. And because you see women approach you all the time, but it can be that one woman.
Yes.
And then you say, okay, honey, listen.
Yeah.
I think you need to make sure that I'm close, or you need to be careful. A lot of times I just say, honey, I think you just need to be careful, because he knows me enough to know I'm not a jealous woman.
Right. And
He'll
now-
listen.
yeah. Oh,
He'll
yeah,
tell me,
it-
like, okay,
yes.
I probably need to listen
Yes.
to that.
But I love what you said, because I'm going to tell you something. Some women strategically be disrespectful and bully.
Yes, they
you.
will.
They will bully.
Yes.
You have, and that was the thing. Me and Kim just talked about this on the way here. They thought because I was so nice, they could walk over me.
Yep.
They thought because I was and I had to grow up in ministry, because I don't like chaos, and people pick up your spirit. They will bully you.
Yes,
you
they
know,
will.
you're trying to be nice, and
Right.
because he said women really support you. I said, yeah, they support me now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do now.
Right.
But they would try to walk over me because I was so nice. People think when you're nice, you're green. No, I just
Right.
love
Right.
God, and I try to
Right.
really show the character of
Right.
God.
Right.
I'm not crazy.
And
They
so-
do. They do. But you don't. Nobody. You don't come in
Right.
as a servant having that mentality. That's the problem. We come in to serve. You
Right.
taking care of the business side, you taking care of the ministry side, but the marriage is broken. In the
Come on
process,
now.
if you don't keep it, because why do we look at the pastors, the 2 pastors in California that have committed suicide? I didn't hear no rumors, nothing bad about them.
No.
People are battling depression. We're healing
That's
everybody else, and we
But
go
ourselves.
home, and we are broken and can't talk to
Absolutely.
nobody.
Absolutely.
We met this very, very, very nice, it was our son's old teacher, and she was a first lady at one time, and she told us the problems that she went through. She was a secret alcoholic because of the stress. You would have never known it. And this was an older, mature teacher
Wow.
that she battled being an alcoholic because of the pain of what had happened in the church. Because when does ministry begin to break you down? Why we don't have counselors for first ladies?
Yeah.
Why we don't have counselors for pastors?
That's right.
Who's the, like
Absolutely.
my husband said?
I think you mentioned that too, because so many times as pastors, they don't have anyone
No.
to go to the event to,
They
because
No.
we have a pedestal. They have like,
Yes.
you know.
My husband went through a depression in 2013. That was a year I've never forgotten. And he's 6'3", about 200 pounds. So you know that's not very big. And then he lost 30 of those pounds.
Oh, wow.
He wasn't sleeping, wasn't eating. He was just down. I prayed that year more than I've ever prayed in my life. I had to literally touch him at night.
Yes.
Because he would not, I would get up out of the bed to go to the restroom, and he would say, "Where you going?" and just grab me. It was almost like fear. And we dealt with that. from the beginning of 2013 to almost to 2014, where God finally broke it.
And sometimes that can be other. Do you know some of that could have been some of the members that he was carrying the weight of the members, and you don't even know it because nobody prepares you for that. Some of the stuff in
You did a great job today. You did so good. Oh my goodness, your husband, yes, you did. Hallelujah. How can I be? Have you ever had them arguments where you so had an argument right before your husband preached, and then he got there and preached the hell out of you?
Come on, that's good.
I can't do that.
That's good. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
In the studio, we have First Lady Melissa West, and we have First Lady Crystal Tolbert, and we were talking briefly, and so we're just, y'all, it is amazing how we're just talking behind the scenes of for just being the role of a First Lady, how to cover your husband, how to cover that. But First Lady Crystal, I want to ask you this. I'm pretty sure you have kids because I've done my research, and I'm pretty sure having kids in the home affects the time you have with your husband. You know, you give yourself in ministry, you give yourself in the church. How do you maneuver with that, you know, giving yourself? How does that affect your time with your husband?
That's so funny you said that because we have our 5-year-old. He still stays in the room with us. We have tried to get him out, y'all, and then he go in his room, and it really does affect you. It really does because you already have just a small amount of time to be with your spouse, and it's like trying to be able to get him to in his room so that you can just have mommy and daddy grilled cheese, because that's what we call it, grilled cheese time, because you got to have names when you have children. So, you know, and grilled cheese is not just the intimate part of the, you know, grilled cheese part, but just having time to watch TV or spend time together. So at times it can get frustrating because we're built a little bit different than our husbands. You know, we kind of are designed for that, you know, and making sure that I want to make sure that my husband, yes, we have a child, we have children, but the oldest two, you know, they're in their own little world now. So I spend time with them and it's easy to adapt. But when you have a little one in the house, trying to make sure you don't lose the relationship with your husband in the process of that relationship with your child, because when they're little, those are the times that you really want them to know that I'm mommy. That was something when I went back to work, I stayed at home with my son until he was almost 2 years old, and I missed him. I was ready to get back to work because I never want my children just to see me as a first lady, as a wife. I wanted them to see me as a woman that could do things too, that they can look up to. So, but it was still hard. And so when I left him, that was hard for me. I missed him because we had a bond. But I also know that it matured him, so at least, you know, we find times. You got to make time. Like now, we'll be like, okay, we'll go to sleep, and then we'll have grilled cheese at 2 in the morning. You got it. You have children, because a lot of times that's why children act out. They're frustrated. They want their friend. That's hard for children to see, you know, pouring out to everybody else. I'm going to be there when Bree goes to prom. I'm going to make it accountable. I'm going to be there.
I can honestly say I honor her so much, but I love her how she taught, how she raised us. And then my dad, she made my dad go get us what kind of ring was that, Muffy?
Promise ring.
A promise ring to save our virginity until we get married. And so he did the best. Even he just, whatever Jackie said, we'll do whatever your mama say. But she did.
He even went all out for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, he did,
just to show us love, and that he could give us the most love than any other man could give.
Yeah, he wanted us to know this is what I want your man to love you, to go over and beyond.
Women need that.
He would put
you're very blessed.
Roses on our pillows, and
when we came home from school.
Yeah, he gave us different roses. I had a dark rose. Muffy, you had what color rose did you have?
Yellow? We got a variety, so.
My mom had the most.
Yeah.
But even though he wasn't in church heavy, my mom had us in there. She's like, you gonna know Jesus.
But you had a balance. See, ministry is so out the four walls.
Oh yeah, because my daddy had us in everything else outside the world.
So that you can have a balance. Yes, because sometimes, and people don't want to be honest, I'm glad that I know what it's like to be in the world.
Right.
Because you got so many people that did not grow up in church or still in church. I need to know what's going on. I need to know what the struggles are. You can't be so consumed in church where you don't know what's going on in the outside world either, because how are you going to be able to relate to people? So that's good.
Now, my question is the Holy Ghost Party, because the Holy Ghost Party don't stop. Listen, guys, this has been really, really good and definitely off air. So all the things you didn't get to see behind the scenes, it's going to be aired on Channel 30.8 on Saturdays at 7 p.m. Definitely look out. If you have regular basic TV, it's going to be seen on Channel 30.8. I definitely feel better and equipped to take my husband and do what needs to be done. Woo, this is going to get even good as the show goes on. But before we leave us, I have one more question, ladies. First Lady Melissa West and First Lady Crystal Tolbert, for you both. If you could only leave me with one piece, I'm not going to ask you that question. I need to ask you this. Is there a time where you needed a pastor? And First Lady West, you have the advantage of living with a pastor right at home, in your home. And what do you do or say to let your husband know that you need Pastor West?
Okay. I simply just walk, because most of the times he's in his office. He is completing his master's degree. So when I just need my pastor, I walk in and I knock on the door and I say, hi, this is Lady Melissa. I would like to speak with my pastor. Do I need to make an appointment with your admin? And so he'll laugh, we'll joke about it, and he'll say, no, come on in. And he gives me his full attention. I go in and I sit and I talk with my pastor. And then when I'm done, then that's it. I go back out as his wife.
Oh, it's so beautiful. First Lady Tolbert.
It's so funny that Lady Melissa said that, because I'll say this, I'll say, okay, I need to talk to Pastor. And he said, okay. He said, let's talk. So he knows when I need to talk to Pastor, and then we're like, I need to talk to Kenneth. It automatically, and he goes into pastor mode. And that's so funny that you said it, because we automatically have that, because he know it. Because Lady Darius said it, when you, right before you go in, if you got into an argument, I'll tell him, I said, oh, I'm not mad at my pastor, he anointed. I was just mad at you.
Exactly. Right.
Thank you so much, ladies, for tuning in to First Lady's Conversation. Listen, we'll be back next Saturday. That is in March, first Saturdays of every month. We're having First Lady Conversation. The next First Lady will have First Lady Stephanie Carter from Concord Church. It's going to be a great show. And I thank so much for Lady Tanisha Green for being behind the scenes and putting this together and writing. She's a great woman of God.
Yes,
Ladies, how can people reach out to you? How can we connect to you? How can we find you on social media? I know First Lady Crystal, she's doing a lot of things. Television is pulling on her. I know First Lady Melissa, she has a devotion that's getting ready to come out. I know I'm nosy. So tell us, how can people connect with you before we get ready to go out? First Lady Melissa?
Okay, well, I am on Facebook, Melissa Shelby West. I'm also the lead coordinator for the Dallas Networking of Pastors' Wives under Dr. Lois Evans. So if you First Ladies are wanting to be a part of our fellowship in the DFW area, we would love to have you. Simply go to Facebook under Dr. Lois Evans and go ahead and register. And once they pretty much screen and make sure that you are the First Lady, you will be connected to our Facebook ministry. It is a closed group, and that is just to protect us, just for, it's a safe place for us. But we have fellowships every other month, and they are a blessing to us.
I need to be a part of this ministry. Amen. Lady D, you a part of the ministry?
I'm sorry. Yes, she is.
Yes, I am. I'm sorry.
You're listening to the Praise Party. No party like a Holy Ghost party. Great interviews, gospel music, very town. You're listening to